Have you ever looked at your hair and thought, I'm using the right products, I'm oiling my scalp, I'm deep conditioning, so why does my hair still seem like it's not thriving? What if the answer isn't simply another hair growth product, but what if the true answer is looking within your body and specifically the role that inflammation can play in your overall health and scalp environment? Could inflammation be blocking your hair growth? Now, I want to make something clear from the beginning. Inflammation is not automatically the cause behind the hair loss or thinning. Hair changes can have many causes, and persistent or significant hair loss can be evaluated appropriately. But when it comes to inflammation, this is an important part of a bigger conversation when it comes to your health. So let's talk about it in today's episode. Do you want healthy, full, manageable, natural hair in simple solutions, but struggle with finding safer options you can trust and want to take all of your time and energy to search? If so, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Ashley, wife, mom, and Jesus BFF. I learned the secret of how to care for my hair and save time while maintaining it. Holistic care. So if you're ready for healthy hair, better health, and faith that helps you stay consistent, grab your comb, your brush, and your Bible because it's time to grow. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to the episode. Now, let's get started with the basics. What exactly is inflammation? Inflammation is actually part of your body's normal defense system. So when your body is recognizing an injury, an infection, a threat, it can activate an inflammatory response. And this is part of your body's attempt to protect and repair itself. So that's normal. So if you could think about when the last time you cut your finger, what you may notice in the beginning is redness, swelling, and maybe a little warmth depending on how deep the cut is, and a little bit of tenderness or sensitivity in that area. This is called an acute inflammatory response. Acute inflammation is generally short term, so it happens for a short time and then you forget about it later. The concern is when inflammatory signaling, it becomes persistent or chronic. Now, when you have chronic inflammation, this is more complex. It can be associated with a variety of health conditions and lifestyle factors. Things like poor diet quality, chronic stress, if you're not sleeping enough, if you're smoking, even metabolic dysfunction. And this is where our conversation about hair gets interesting because when it comes to your hair follicles, they're not separate from the rest of your body. They're a part of the living biological structure. So when you think about your scalp, this is your skin. This is part of your skin. And your hair follicles, it require an adequate amount of nutrients, oxygen, blood supply, just a healthy environment in order for it to function properly. So when you're talking about healthy hair, we shouldn't only ask, what product am I putting on my hair, but we should also ask, what is happening within my body? Now, here's where I want to think about hair care differently. Our hair care or our hair is often giving you clues when something is happening around it. But a lot of times we're not careful to look at just you have hair loss to therefore inflammation is the cause. And that's not how science works. But when it comes to hair thinning, it could be influenced by a number of things. Like it's not only genetics, but it's also your hormones. If you're deficient at any nutrient level, medications that you're taking, illness, stress, maybe you're experiencing scalp disorders. There's a number of conditions that could happen. And when it comes to inflammation, this could be relevant because scalp and hair follicles, they exist in the body's larger environment. For example, when it comes to scalp inflammation, it can occur when a person has different scalp conditions. And inflammation is associated with a broader health problems that can also be a part of the conversation when we're looking at someone's overall wellness. So instead of just looking at one magic ingredient or one magic food that you need to add to your diet, just think about the whole entire picture. Your hair routine, your nutrition, your stress, your sleep, your overall health, your scalp. your individual history, especially your hair history. And that's a more holistic way of approaching hair wellness. So that's the bigger thing to look at. Now, another thing that we have to focus on when it comes to inflammation is insulin and stress. And that specifically is the stress hormones. See, when it comes to our body, it's an interconnected system. So that means what you eat, your body has to regulate to become blood glucose. And insulin is one of the hormones involved in that process. Now, when you're experiencing stress, your body also responds through a network of hormones and signaling systems designed to help you respond to that stress. All of these systems are necessary. The Lord was so intentional when He created all these different systems in the body. Like, it's so strategic and so full of wisdom. So the problem is not that you have insulin or stress hormones, but the problem is when the body's regulatory systems are continually being challenged or disrupted. So this is why I don't want you to think about your hair health as simply, which oil do I need to get? Like, is it rosemary better or castor oil? But sometimes we have to step back and think, am I even nourishing my body? What did I last eat today that was very intentional when it comes to my body and my hair? Am I getting enough rest? Am I constantly living in a state of stress? Like, was I too stressed out today? Like, really evaluate that. Am I paying attention to the changes that's happening to my scalp and hair? These questions, they don't replace medical care, but they help you to become better aware so you can become a better steward over the body that the Lord given you. So what can we actually do with this information? Well, let's start with what's on our plate, our food. I don't believe you need a complicated diet with a cabinet or a pantry full of supplements to start better making choices for yourself. But it starts with your plate. See, the foods that we choose, it can become a part of our overall anti-inflammatory eating pattern. And so if we become like more intentional with the things that we eat, then this could become making our plate more colorful, with starting with our vegetables, having a variety of different vegetables like leafy greens. Maybe we want to have some berries on our plate, some strawberries, some watermelon. Maybe we want to be more intentional with the kind of proteins that we eat, not eating so much fried chicken, but just chicken in general, like baked chicken or something. Or maybe we want to eat wild salmon. Maybe we want to cook with olive oil instead of another type of oil. Maybe we also want to eat more pumpkin seeds and use spices like turmeric. That's going to also help with inflammation. All of these different foods that I mentioned, they provide a variety of nutrients and plant compounds that can support your overall health. And here's an important distinction I want you to make. I'm not telling you to eat salmon because salmon is a hair growth food. You probably already know that. But I'm definitely also not telling you that eating blueberries will magically make your hair grow. You probably already know that, and it's not a magical fruit. So you don't have to just hone in on those specific things. That's not the message. But the goal is to build an overall pattern of nourishing your body, how we can be more intentional with what we eat. And that's where I love the connection between science and faith. Now, if we take a dive back or a dive into the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 29, we see that the Lord is providing plants and food as a part of His provision for Adam and Eve. And in Daniel, chapter 1, we see that Daniel and others, they're being intentional about what they consumed as well. Even though Daniel, he was fasting, but we see a list of foods there where he was being intentional with how he was stewarding his body in that season. We also have a reminder in the third book of John, chapter 2, of the desire for believers to prosper and be in health. So the point isn't that scripture is giving us a modern nutrition protocol. The point is stewardship. God has entrusted us with these bodies. And caring for ourselves, it doesn't have to come from vanity or fear. It can come from a state of gratitude. So what does this sound like? This could sound like, Lord, help me to be more intentional with what you've given me, starting with my body. And that, my friend, when you have a prayer like that, that is the beginning of motivation. That changes your motivation to begin with. Because we're not nourishing ourselves because we need to achieve some perfect appearance, but we're nourishing ourselves because our bodies are worth caring for. And when it comes to our hair, we can have that same perspective. We don't worship our hair, but we steward our crown. Okay, so that is the whole goal from today's episode. So here's your challenge for the week. As you're building your plate during the week, you're going to build one anti-inflammatory plate every day. Yes, keep it simple. All you have to do is choose a protein. Make sure your vegetables are nice and colorful. That means you have a variety of different vegetables. You also want to include a healthy fat like a sweet potato. And maybe you can also add some fruit in there or another nutrient-dense carbohydrate. And make sure you're drinking your water. So you don't have to completely transform your diet overnight. But the point of this, you could be intentional with your plate, what's in front of you. And while you're eating, just remember that this isn't punishment, but this is an example of true stewardship. You are caring for the body that the Lord has given you, and that includes caring for the environment in which your hair grows. So now, because I'm a cosmetic chemist and also a holistic nutritionist, I don't want you to leave thinking that topical hair doesn't matter, because it does. Your scalp and hair, it still need appropriate cleansing, conditioning, moisture, and protection. So formulation really matters. That means the ingredients that you choose for your hair, that matters. And how a product is designed to interact with your hair and skin, that matters. But topical products, that's one piece of the picture. A beautifully formulated product cannot replace what you're putting into your body, your nutrition, how you're sleeping, even appropriate medical care or addressing an underlying health concern. So that's why I believe in both approaches. Care for the scalp and hair externally, and care for the body internally. And don't forget or don't ignore the signs that tell you that it's time to seek professional help. So as I close, could inflammation be blocking your hair growth? The answer isn't as simple as a yes or a no, but inflammation, it's one piece of a bigger biological picture. So if you're experiencing ongoing thinning, shedding, scalp changes, or other concerning symptoms, don't just buy products in hoping for the best. Take the time to truly understand what is happening, because your hair may be telling you it's time to pay a closer attention to your overall health. And that's really what I want you to take away from today's episode. Your hair isn't just something to style, it's a part of your body, and you're called to steward it. So if you've enjoyed this conversation, which I pray that you did, I'd love for you to continue exploring this topic with me through my upcoming workshop that's coming up this month called Heal Your Scalp Workshop. And it's going down on the 24th, I believe that's a Tuesday, where we'll go deeper into understanding what's affecting your hair beyond products. If you're looking for intentional hair care to support your external routine, then you could also shop my chemist formulated hair solutions at cultivatinginnerbeauty.com. That's also where you'll find the Heal Your Scalp workshop as well. So be sure to go to cultivatinginnerbeauty.com for those resources. Until next time, care for your crown, steward your health, and cultivate your beauty from within. I'll talk to you next time on this week's or next week's episode. Bye guys, have a great day. Love ya.